Chapter 8. Goodbye. Today was the day that Naruto was looking towards and dreading at the same time, the day Sasuke Uchiha was released from his time in the detention area. Naruto waited outside the detention center with people who were acting irritating. The two fangirls, Sakura Haruno and Ino Yamanaka. Naruto was leaning against the wall watching the door waiting for Sasuke to come out. Naruto wanted to see if there was anything left in the friendship they once had. Tayayu stood there next to him, watching in disgust at the two kunoichi who were literally bouncing up and down with joy for Sasuke's release. When the doors opened, two red eyes were seen and Naruto watched as the young Sharingan user came out of the detention area. Ino and Sakura ran at Sasuke, both diving at him, but he ducked them, going straight towards Naruto. Naruto got off of the wall and stood straight. Sasuke, I came to see if there is anything left between us that represents a friendship. If not, I can stay away. I am no longer on Team 7 anyways. Sasuke stood in front of Naruto, then looked over at Tayayu. You're one of the Sound 4, right? Tayayu looked at him. I used to be shithead, now I am a Konohagakure kunoichi because of this shithead. Sasuke looked over at Naruto. Does this girl mean anything to you, Dobi? Naruto looked at her, then back at Sasuke, not replying to the question. Sasuke looked at Naruto and smirked as he looked back at the red-headed teen girl. You're going to be my girlfriend. Naruto flinched and glared at Sasuke for his question. Apparently there truly is nothing left for us. Tayayu-chan isn't someone that you can claim either, Sasuke. Sasuke looked at Naruto and his smirk got larger. Sounds as if she means something to you. When she goes on a date with me, will it make you jealous? Will it make you angry? Will it make you wish you never made that bond with her? Naruto just stared at Sasuke. Yeah, it probably will. But you know what I will feel more than anything? Pity for you and confusion. Pity because the only reason you are doing this is to attempt to hurt me. Confusion because why would she go for someone like you? Your only concern is power and revenge, and you will obviously do anything to get it. Naruto turned and looked over his shoulder at Sasuke. Tayayu-chan is too good for the likes of you anyways, Sasuke. Naruto put his hands in his pockets and walked away. He was late for training as it was. Tayayu stood there confused for a moment, then looked at Naruto. Hey shithead, wait up. Tayayu walked off and then stopped before looking at Sasuke. You jackass with the emo look. I don't want to date you. I am too good for you, like the shithead said. Why don't you date one of the annoying ones over there? Tayayu smirked and ran off to catch up to Naruto, who had only stopped momentarily. When she caught up, she looked at him. So, you would get jealous of me dating someone, huh? Naruto looked at her, then back forward. Maybe, but only because I wouldn't get to see you as much. Nothing else. Tayayu nodded her head. Of course, I could say the same thing. Naruto nodded back and they both looked forward as they walked, small blushes on their faces. Naruto just kept looking forward. That was such a lie. I would be jealous for other reasons and I know that. Tayayu watched as they passed by shops. He is lying, I think. He would get jealous of me dating someone for the reason of wanting to himself if I am right. He doesn't have to worry though. There is no one in this village worth even looking at that way though. Well, except for one. Tayayu looked at Naruto out of the corner of her eye as they walked and had a small smile. Tayayu looked forward. Only one though. They arrived at the training field where Jiraiya was waiting for them. You're late, both of you. Naruto scratched the back of his head. I had unfinished business to take care of. Sorry, Ero Sennin. Jiraiya looked at the two. What was that then, Naruto? You were late, so you owe me an explanation. Naruto looked at his white-haired sensei. Sasuke Uchiha was released from his detention today. I wanted to see if there was any form of friendship left between us or not. Jiraiya looked at his blonde-haired disciple. The situation brought up his own painful memories about Orochimaru and him. Naruto and Tayayu went to sparring practice as they always did, but when they finished, Naruto pulled something out of his pouch. I got you a gift, Tayayu-chan. Tayayu looked at him as he was obviously hiding something behind his back. She stood up and tried to look behind his back, but Naruto was too quick for her. Let me see it then, shithead. Naruto looked at her and gave her a soft smile. You have to say please in my name. Tayayu rose her eyebrow at him, then cracked a couple of her knuckles, making Naruto gulp. Tayayu quickly tackled him to the ground before he could try to run and sat on his chest. Give me the gift, shithead. Naruto looked at her and did something bold. No. Tayayu glared and his and rose her hand to hit him on the head, then she froze. She grudgingly lowered her hand. Please. Can I have my gift? Naruto. Naruto smiled at her. See, was that so hard, Tayayu-chan? Tayayu could resist any more at that point and hit him on the head a couple times. Damn it, give me it. I did what you wanted, shithead. Naruto sighed as he pulled his arm out from behind him and handed her a flute that was made of the same metal alloy as kunai. It made it more durable so that it wouldn't break in a battle. Tayuya's eyes went wide as she looked at the gift that he had given her. She slowly took it from his hand as if it would break from the slightest touch. She looked at the flute, then looked at Naruto as a large smile was on her face. Naruto smiled back at her. She has a really pretty smile. Should I tell her that? If I do, she will hit me. Maybe she won't though. Naruto looked at her. You have a really pretty smile. Tayuya-chan. Tayuya moved her arms and Naruto closed his eyes, bracing for the hit. He opened his eyes quickly in surprise when he felt her arms wrap around his neck. Tayuya released him. Thank you, Naruto. Naruto blushed and looked away from Tayuya. You're welcome, Tayuya-chan. Jiraiya smiled as he looked at the two, then cleared his throat. If you two are done being lovebirds, can we get back to Naruto letting Tayuya beat him up? Tayuya instantly hardened her gaze. What do you mean? Naruto letting Tayuya beat him up? You old shithead. Jiraiya scratched his head. Oh, you haven't figured it out yet. Tayuya rose an eyebrow, then looked down at Naruto, who still wasn't looking towards her. Tayuya looked back at the white-haired man who had been training them lately. Explain, you piece of crap pervert. Jiraiya sighed. Well, I was going to let you figure it out on your own, but don't you find it odd Naruto never goes on the offensive against you? Tayuya looked at Naruto. Shithead is always on the damn defensive because of my skills. Jiraiya looked at her. Naruto beat a Hyuga, a Uchiha. He held his own briefly against that Kimimuru. He beat Gaara. He has quite a bit of brute strength as well as speed to match it. He is constantly training. If he really wanted to, he could instantly put you on the defensive. Tayuya's eyes widened as she looked down at Naruto, who still hadn't looked at her. Shithead. Have you been holding out on me in training? Naruto finally looked up at her. Who are you going to believe? Tayuya-chan, me or the old pervert? Tayuya glared at him. He was dodging the answer, so she knew what that meant. Show me your real strength right now, shithead. Naruto looked at her with a hardening gaze. What if I say no? Tayuya lifted her hand and went to hit him, but as soon as her hand neared his face he disappeared, then reappeared behind her with crimson eyes. Tayuya looked behind her. I have held back because it made you happy, Tayuya-chan. Even if you didn't show it, I could see it in your eyes. You slowly started to grow closer to me. You slowly started to be happier. You liked that I was submissive, that I gave in. I don't want to take that away from my only friend. But if you want the fight, I will give you that as well. I have trained with Jiraiya-sensei the whole time we have been with one another. Shadow clones are truly amazing for that. Tayuya's eyes widened as a small smirk appeared. You were hiding more than I thought you were, shithead. Naruto looked at her with an emotionless look, his crimson eyes reflecting her image as well as showing some confusion. You seem happy that you are going to fight me. I don't understand. I thought friends didn't enjoy fighting one another. I didn't enjoy fighting Sasuke. Perhaps this is something else that I don't understand. Tayuya smiled some more as he got the flute ready that he had gotten her as he curse mark activated. I am happy because now there is nothing else you are hiding from me, shithead. I will beat you with the power of my curse mark. Naruto's eyes went back to just an emotionless look. I am no longer hiding anything from you, is why you are happy. I was right that I didn't understand. Your curse mark will do you no good, Tayuya-chan. I have fought Sasuke's curse mark and you lost to Shikamaru with yours. Shikamaru is not on my level, he only is better with intelligence. Tayuya smirked as she put her hand on the ground, summoning jutsu. 3 giant figures now stood behind her while Naruto stood there with an unfazed look. These are your Doki summonings, huh? Shikamaru's report said that you control them with your flute. Tayuya smiled. I am going to kick your ass using the gift that you got me, shithead. Ironic, isn't it? Naruto scratched the back of his head, then disappeared again, appearing next to Tayuya, placing his hand on her flute. That means I just have to take this and you can't use the Doki. Naruto disappeared again with the flute in hand. Can we stop this now, Tayuya-chan? I prefer the way we usually are. Tayayu growled as her doki dispelled and she stared at him. No. Naruto looked at her with confusion again. Why are you angry? I thought this was what you wanted. Tayayu glared at him. You said I was closest to you, that I knew you better than anyone else, but you were still being fake with me as well. Naruto's eyes widened as the crimson faded back into their usual icy blue. He just continued to stare at her. Tayayu-chan. Tayayu just looked away from him. You weren't acting like a friend, shithead. Friends don't lie to one another. I never lied to you. Naruto just continued to stand there with wide eyes. He didn't know what to say. Jiraiya was standing there taking notes. This will be great for a novel someday. Tayayu looked back at him with angry eyes he was familiar with from others. Naruto closed his eyes and looked away, tossing the flute back to her. It's good that you angry with me, Tayayu-chan. You should hate me. People will like you more. I am leaving tomorrow anyways. I was going to tell you after our sparring training when you were always at your happiest. Jiraiya-sensei and I are going to go on a training trip for a couple of years. Naruto opened his eyes and looked back at her. I will let you in on a secret before I leave though. True strength isn't what you show, it isn't the power you possess. True strength is what you choose to do with your power. I choose to be submissive, give in to others to make them happy. Naruto looked up at the sky then smiled briefly. I enjoyed our time together, Tayayu-chan. With your flute, Ba-chan will give you your Chunin promotion. You won't need me to go on C and B ranked missions. Your allegiance are beyond proven to Konohagakure. Naruto looked at her, holding the small smile that he had on his face as he looked at her. His eyes softened to a point that she had never seen. I hope you have forgiven me by the time that I return to Tayayu-chan. Perhaps I will understand more by then. Tayuya's eyes widened. Wait. You can't just leave, shithead. Naruto looked at her. I have to get stronger to protect the ones I care about. People like Iruka, Shizune, Tsunade, Jiraiya, you. Her eyes got wider as he said that. She watched as he turned his body partially. Shithead. Naruto looked over at Jiraiya, who threw his bag over to him, and Naruto gave her the same smile and look before flashing in front of her and kissed her forehead. Naruto stopped and smiled at her. My name is Naruto. Try to remember that when I return to Tayayu-chan. Naruto turned and left with Jiraiya, leaving her standing there with wide eyes for about 20 minutes. When she finally snapped out of it, she ran to Tsunade's office, kicking open the door. You old hag, where are they going? Tsunade looked up at the furious red-headed teen. He asked me not to tell you. He said when he came back that he would explain everything to you. He also left you this. Tayayu snatched the letter from Tsunade and opened it. Tayayu-chan, if you are reading this letter, that means at some level my plan didn't work, though at what level one I'm not sure. If you are reading this, then you don't hate me like I wanted you to. Jiraiya-sensei and I planned on revealing my power to you when I left, hoping to make you furious while I continued my masquerade as the fool. I knew you would be angry that I concealed what I could really do from you. I saw that it made you happy to view yourself superior to myself, so that is how I wanted it to stay until the end. Whatever point in which my plan derailed, I am sure that I have my reasons for. No matter what, I want you to do one thing for me while I am gone: get stronger. Knowing you, as soon as I walk through the gate in a couple of years, you're going to want to fight me again. Now on to the sappy stuff that you don't care for. Thank you for teaching me the things I didn't understand about friendship. You were at this point the only friend I think I had left in the village. I cared for you greatly, though I think that it had crossed the void of friendship. That is another thing that I am sure that I don't completely understand. Perhaps after I get back it is something that you can teach me about, if it won't be such an issue for you. I hope that you liked my goodbye gift to Tayayu-chan. See you in a couple years when I return. Naruto. Shithead, Uzumaki. Tayayu stood there staring at the piece of paper for a moment before putting it in her pouch. Contact me when you have a mission for me, Tsunade-sama. To be